This is Book Talk with Corbin. I'm your host. I wanted to comment on a Facebook post, and actually a Facebook post in a book I've been reading. First, let's talk about the Facebook post. Here's how the Facebook post reads. All I'm going to say is if they feel the need to still go after a man that has been out of office for almost 2 years, it tells me they are terrified of him. Obviously, this person is making reference to President Trump. He's been out of office for almost 2 years now. And I'm telling you, it's true. When I know a Trump, this is not a Trump opponent, this is a Trump hater. If you ever wanted to rile this person up, just mention the name Donald Trump and say something jokingly like, I love Donald Trump. He was one of the world's greatest presidents. And that individual lose their minds. These people their hatred of this man is maniacal. It's borderline insane. It's borderline insane. In all seriousness now, it's borderline insane. But then again, bear in mind when he got elected, people were outside screaming, hollering, crying, talking about exercising the White House. I mean, come on, people, are you serious? Really? They didn't have this kind of, conservatives, Republicans, patriots, we don't have that kind of reaction when someone we don't support wins office. We don't get that emotional. We don't get that crazy. We don't run out in the middle of the street and start crying and yelling and hollering at the moon and that kind of stuff. And when opponent leaves office, for the most part, we pretty much leave them alone. Look, the Democrats didn't react like this. The Democratic Party didn't react like this when Richard Nixon left office. Go back and read about the Nixon administration. Do some research. Hey, what Tricky Dick did was wrong. And he knew it was wrong, and he stepped down. And I'm glad he stepped down. And he was right to step down. But, and then, for the most part, the Democrats just left him alone. My God. Trumpster? If that man passes gas, they're going to accuse him of the war crime of chemical warfare or something like that. It's maniacal. And, you really have to think about it. What is it they hate about this man and his so-called MAGA supporters? And when it all comes down to it, it's really it's really not him. It's those 70+ million voters. They hate you guys. They hate them. They hate those voters. They hate people like me. They loathe people like me. If they had the opportunity to load a gun and pull that trigger, load a gun, put it to my head and pull that trigger, they would do it. I really don't think what keeps them from doing it is the law or morality. These people are nuts. If you really closely examine this, they are nuts. They're insane. And what is it they hate? They hate people who recite the Pledge of Allegiance. They hate people who stand up for the Star-Spangled Banner. They hate people who demand that you respect the flag because of all the many people, black and white, male and female, who've died defending that flag. They hate someone who's a strict constitutionalist. If you don't believe me, go back and look at the Bork hearings when Bork was nominated for the Supreme Court. If you don't believe me, go back to the time when the Bush administration nominated a black woman. That was under the Bush administration, nominated a black woman for the Supreme Court. Oh, them white boys in the Democratic Party and them white girls in the Democratic Party and their little black, whatever, they opposed that woman, that black woman, like she had the plague. Look at what she said about the U.S. Constitution. Reading about what she wrote about the U.S. Constitution. She's a strict constitutionalist. That's why they hated her. And that's why they hate you. You MAGA supporters, you Republicans, you conservatives, you Trump supporters. You're patriots. You're patriots. You recite the Pledge of Allegiance. You stand up for the Star-Spangled Banner. You're strict constitutionalists. You believe in free speech. You particularly believe in free speech, that you believe in the right of free speech for those who disagree with you. You particularly support the right to free speech for those folks. You firmly believe that race should not be the determining factor in anyone getting a job or a position, particularly in the government. I don't care, first, black, female, whatever, I don't care. Is that woman or man qualified to be in the Supreme Court? Are they going to be in the Supreme Court and really adhere strictly to the U.S. Constitution? Or are they going to just make laws out of their head? And I'm sorry, we've had that Constitution for a while now, and it's worked well for us. I think it's good for us to keep it some more, to keep with it. And if there's something that we really need some improvement, like 13th Amendment, that you can make amendments to it. Boy, you have to listen to these people on the other side, on the left, and boy, I get real suspicious of them. And I'm telling you, I know some of these rabid liberal Democrats. Boy, I get suspicious of them. Very suspicious. They don't seem to understand some of the consequences of what they say. And they are willing to label us in a heartbeat. It's like when the president said, what did he say? I want to use his exact words. Forgive me if I don't, but, extreme MAGA Republicans. What is that? Oh, those are people who believe in legal immigration. Those are people who believe in border security, strict border security. Those are people who believe in less government in our personal lives. Those are people who believe in lower taxes. And that's an extremist? Okay, and it makes me an extremist. Okay, I'm an extremist. I believe in free speech. I stand for the flag. And now I'm an extremist. When people say those kind of things, you know what's next? Their physical extermination. Don't think I'm not engaging in conspiracy theory or anything of that nature. Clearly look at what happened to the Armenians in Turkey. Clearly look at what's her name, Margaret Sanger, Planned Parenthood, and what she said about white immigrants, certain white immigrant groups and black people. Look what she said about them, how she characterized them. Look at what the Nazis said about Aryan superiority and who didn't fit into that category of Aryan superiority, and what should be, how they characterized them, described them, and then later what should be done to them, and then they did it. How can the President of the United States stand up there and say, basically say, objectively say, and if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, but objectively say 70 plus million voters in the United States of America are enemies to our constitutional republic. He practically referred to us as vermin, hate-filled vermin who want to take the country back. Back to what? Folks, man. Sometimes I laugh about it and I joke about it, but other times when I really get thoughtful about it, I get a little concerned. So here's what I want to say. And I'm really speaking to the conservatives, Republicans, and patriots out there. We are engaged in a cultural war. We're not engaged in a literal war, but we are engaged in a cultural war. Yes, we should run candidates and fund our candidates and vote for our candidates. Absolutely, we need to do that. Absolutely, we need to do that. But we also need to acknowledge the fact we are in a cultural war. We are fighting for the soul of this nation. And we have to be prepared to engage in discussion and debate with fellow Americans about what's happening in this country. And we need to tell them. We need to explain to them. If you want to call me an extremist, because I'm a proud American? I'm a patriot? If you want to call me an extremist because I believe in free speech and integrity of elections, local, state, national elections, if you want to call me an extremist because I just don't believe that children in the womb should be killed for any reason, I just don't. But I'm willing to have that discussion with you, that debate, that dialogue, that back and forth. If you want to call me an extremist because I believe in the U.S. Constitution, Bill of Rights, Declaration of Independence, I believe that there should not be open borders, that we should have secure borders, and we should strictly control who goes back and forth across the borders. You want to call me an extremist for that? You want to call me an extremist because I celebrate people who have come from other nations into this country and helped us build it into the great constitutional republic that it is? People like Dinesh D'Souza, Dwight Eisenhower, yes. The Cuomos, the Cuomo family. I want to celebrate people like that, immigrants like that, Colin Powell, immigrants like that. I want to celebrate immigrants like that, hold them up as, hey, these aren't only true Americans, but they're amongst the greatest of Americans. And you want to call me an extremist for that? Yeah, okay. Let me go on to the next thing I want to talk about. This is a book by Dr. Boyce Watkins, A Basic Guide to Building Your Family Economic Empire, the $5 a day stock market investing plan. It's a short book. You can go to Amazon.com and get it. I highly recommend it. I have read it, and every so often I just sort of swing through it, highlight it, and things like that. I don't agree with a lot of Dr. Boyce Watkins' political positions. He's to the left, a little too to the left for me. But whenever he starts talking about economics and money and wealth building, etc., I sit down, shut up, and I take notes. This guy's worth reading. I also purchased his what do they call that? Fund finance flashcards. Black Millionaires of Tomorrow. Oh, my Lord, I am with him 100% on that. I firmly believe that black youth, we need to teach black youth now, not later, now, about give them financial education, financial literacy, the whole bit. I'm totally with that 100%. But I think he and I might disagree on the position that I do not believe that's something that should be done in government schools. I don't believe that. I think that's something that should be done in the family, community centers, nonprofit groups, churches, synagogues, mosques. I think the black family, we need to take that onto ourselves, our own shoulders 100%. I don't think it's anything that government schools should do. Many of them don't want to do it, and I don't want to get into why, but they don't want to do it. Well, you know what? It's not their responsibility to do it. It's our responsibility to do it. Now, I don't know if Dr. Watkins would agree with me or disagree with me on that, but we definitely have agreement on, educating black youth about generational wealth, what constitutes wealth, etc. I'm with him 100%. I got some of his flashcards right now in my hands, and like one of them here says assets. And on the back it says a resource with economic value that an individual, corporation, or country owns or controls with the expectation that it will provide future benefit of income. Good stuff, man. Here, let me read this here in this other one. It says dividend. What's a dividend? A sum of money paid regularly, typically quarterly, by a company to its shareholders out of its profits or reserves. They can be issued as cash payments, as shares of stock, or other property. Great stuff. That again is Dr. Boyce Watkins' Fund Finance flashcards, and I got them. I got 2 sets, and I use them in my financial education programs. The ones I do here in Louisville. So I just wanted to share those 2 things with you guys. And again, this is Invest Now America. Stay tuned. We got more coming up.